In this video we'll talk about Levicki's key traits of a leader. Now this video is linked to another one given on Levicki which you should consult also. The other one lists a lot of points that Levicki considers to be essential leadership skills, and you should consult that video in the context of this one so you have a wider picture, and also some of the points we make here simply consolidate what was mentioned in the other video, so it's worth looking up for that reason alone. So to start, this is taken from The Leadership Gene, which was published in 1998. So Levicki sees some of the key traits of a leader as follows. It's the ambition and ability to get into leadership positions. Well, leaders must become leaders, and to become the leader they must have the ambition and they must have the ability to get themselves into that position. So inside the person there must be a set of qualities that enable that person to promote him or herself in a way that gets them into a position where they become the leader. They are the ones who lead the particular function that's under consideration. So they must have the ambition to do that. They must want it. And they must also have the ability to do it. Secondly, the ability to make superior decisions and have better quality judgment compared to peers. Good leaders should have a reputation for making good decisions. They should have the ability to weigh up the pros and cons of situations and come down logically on what is a good choice, a good direction to move, and should be able to lead others in the right direction, having carefully evaluated the pros and cons of the situation, having critically evaluated the situation, if you like. They should be able to make a decision which will, chances are, lead to a good outcome, and that will inspire others to follow the leader. The leader will have a reputation of having made good decisions, so the rest of the people involved with the leader will be inspired by that. They will have confidence in the leader, and they will be more willing to follow the leader because of the superior decision making in the past. A leader must have the capacity to survive, even in the face of criticism. Sometimes things don't go right. Sometimes circumstances conspire against the leader. It may be freak circumstances, just something happens in the environment which was not necessarily predictable, or perhaps the leader, him or herself, made a bad decision, overlooked something which was key, and a bad outcome resulted. Now all of this can lead to criticism and can lead for calls for the leader to resign or to step down or whatever. But in fact what happened was not typical of the person. Perhaps if the leader has a history of making a lot of mistakes, then the criticisms are valid. But if the leader, generally speaking, gets it right and just sometimes slips, that may not be the reason, that may not be sufficient, I should say, to call for the leader's resignation. But leaders must be aware that they are constantly being evaluated by those that they're leading. They're constantly being weighed up in terms of their decision making, their ability to inspire those that are being led, the ability to get the desired outcomes. So they're constantly being evaluated, and there's an undercurrent all the time, perhaps one which is supportive, but when bad decisions lead to bad outcomes, that undercurrent of opinion could turn against the leader. And that has to be borne in mind by the leader. So they must have the capacity to survive. If they're going to be long-term leaders, they must be able to survive the criticism when it arises and be able to turn the situation around. They should have the ability to select effective teams. It's important that the leader be able to delegate. Perhaps in certain organizations, delegation is important. The leader can't do everything. But in order to delegate, they must have effective teams. They must have teams of people that they trust, teams of people that are reliable, teams that are going to try to implement the decisions wholeheartedly, will not hold back, and will certainly not sabotage the efforts of the leader. So they must have the ability to select loyal teams, ones that will work hard to bring about the outcome that the leader anticipated. A good leader can inspire above average performance from followers. So the good leader will have charisma, and this is discussed in the other video I mentioned earlier, but they will have personal qualities that inspire those that are being led, the followers. It will inspire the followers to subscribe to the courses of action that the leader lays out. They will trust the leader. So a good leader can inspire the followers to move in a certain direction, simply because of his or her personality, because of their history of good decision making in the past, because of the way they treat other people, because of their overall set of characteristics which are felt to be good, honest, desirable, and so are worthy of following. So the followers will subscribe to that course of action. So a good leader will inspire the followers. A good leader can introduce change and overcome resistance to change. We all know that we tend to get settled in our ways, and the same in industry and in commerce. There are certain routines, and when the workers have learnt to cope with those routines, they're contented, they're happy, they're working within their knowledge set, within their experiences. They're happy, they're able to complete the tasks. So when a change is required because of perhaps competitive pressure or perhaps innovation or invention, or something comes along to necessitate change, there will be resistance to the change. The chances are the staff will resist the change, and a good leader is one who can explain the change, the desirability of the change, and will encourage the staff to undertake what's necessary to implement the change, so they can overcome the resistance. A good leader must have the capacity to explain and reason and make changes and take the staff with him or her on that journey, the journey from one type of working situation, perhaps a different type of working situation. But they're able to carry the workforce with them in those changes. They must be known to do the right thing. They must be trusted. The staff, or the followers if you like, must look at the leader and trust the leader. They trust that the leader's decisions are in their interest. The leader is not going to hurt them or to have a hidden agenda which is going to damage them or their livelihoods or their working lives. So they must feel that the leader is doing the right thing. So once they have confidence in the leader and they trust the leader, then the situation will be more stable, and the leader will command more respect and more loyalty amongst the staff, and will thus be a better leader as a consequence. Now this is a short video. We've only just done 9 slides and we've only looked at 7 points. As I said, it goes with a separate video. Please look at that, and please make notes from both of them. What Levicki has done is prepared a set of traits and characteristics that in a sense we can all identify with in the context of leadership. But it's important to have them articulated in this way. So it's important that you make your own notes and fill out what you consider to be the desirable qualities of leaders, and know what these qualities are and their importance. But that's all we're going to deal with in this video, so let's leave it at that and say thank you for watching.